1.5-ish of our Pendragon prologue. This will be our first actual stream that we're recording because the sound didn't work in the last one. You can check it out. It's pretty hilarious. Everyone else came through fine, but the GM didn't, so that made it very hard. My name's Bob. I'm going to be the GM of this game. I have with me 3 really good friends, and I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name's Thomas. I'll be playing Sir Gortrix. I like Arthurian legend, and in fact, I have a suit of armor in that suitcase over there.
Alright then. Hi, I'm Mark. I will be playing Sir Edward. And I also love Arthurian legend, mostly because it's utterly insane, and I love it. It makes no sense, but it's always enjoyable. Yeah, not really too much else to have. Love RPGs, and here I am.
I'm Liam. I'm playing Sir Dallin of Durnford, and I have read part of a book about King Arthur once, but it's kind of hard to exist without knowing some stuff about it. So I'm very much looking forward to messing around in this world.
What was it? King Arthur and the Knights of Justice?
King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. That's my exposure.
Yeah.
The little-known novelization.
Yeah. Fair enough. And welcome everyone. So I thought we could start since anyone viewing would have missed the last session. Maybe we could do a bit of a recap and refresher for everyone. Let's start with I'll start with the first piece. So we know that our knights here, which are, by the way, our secondary characters, they will be the primary characters of the prologue, and then they'll step into more of the background for the main game. The year's 480. This crew is heading to the Easter court, Easter feast, which was in Bishopric of Londonium. On the way, they were charged by their Count Roderick of Salisbury, to head to find an appropriate gift for the king by way of a feast, a hunt. Of course, the king right now is King Aurelius, and our group of folks, our group of knights, went to the forest. Maybe we can start with introducing the secondary characters, actually.
Sir Gortrix is hard of body, soft of mind. He is very naive, but very large, with a Gregor Clegane, just physique, but with a heart of gold. He is of I forgot where he's from, guys. It had a name of Wintersbourne Stoke.
Yeah.
Yes. And he is the nephew of the current lord there, knighted quite recently, but taken to it like a duck to water.
All right, and I am playing Sir Edward of Idmiston. He is a knight of hard exterior and also a hard interior. Though he does kind of have a softer inside, though mostly he's kind of harsh. Mostly born from growing up as a bastard, unfortunately. But he's made the best of his position and worked his way up to become a knight. And yeah, I'm sure you'll learn more about him as we go along.
Perfect.
Sir Dallin has not spent a lot of time at home since being knighted. They went over to campaign across the channel almost immediately and only recently returned. They're a little shy and reserved and awkward, and beyond that, there's not much more to say. So they're looking forward to being able to make their stand here.
Excellent. All right, and maybe we'll jump back then to that scene in the forest. What do you guys recall about that?
The boar was a bastard.
Oh, well, you refused to die.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think we spent like 25 minutes trying to stab the bull, and then when we finally did find and able to stab the boar, we really stabbed the boar a lot.
Stabbed the hell out of it. But before that, between failed dice rolls and the boar just getting really lucky, it managed to unhorse Sir Goratrix, who landed, and then just ran away from each of us in sequential order. But we surrounded it and we stabbed the hell out of it. With, I believe, Edward doing the most damage, Goratrix getting the killing blow, and Dalen getting the first blood.
I
Also,
think it was... Yeah. Something like
oh yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, I thought Dalen got the final blow. I might have
I
been wrong.
rolled last, but I think it was dead long before I got a chance to actually get it.
It was whoever it attacked.
Yeah, it was coming to attack me.
Right, then yeah, it'd be Gortra again.
Yeah.
Also, we met Merlin.
Yes. Merlin and a completely normal just dude who was traveling along with him. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, what was his name? Schmarther? He probably won't go anywhere.
Yeah,
He went by the name of Maddox, and weirdly enough, had a strange signet ring.
Yes. So that you all decided to, since you're heading to the same place, that you would. You've heard tales of Merlin, so you decided to travel with him and his Madoc squire back to Londonium. Upon arriving, you entered the Easter feast, presenting your prize, which, by the way, you will end up being given a little bit of extra glory for actually being successful with the boar. That might not have gone so well, mostly from presenting as a present, and we'll get to that in the winter phase. So scene 2 was the feast. We spent the rest of our time in this feast. What do you guys recall? Do we recall enough to go through the rounds of it?
Sir Edward had a terrible time from the get-go. We started off by determining where we sat, where we were positioned, with Edward and Goratrix sitting near the salt, and Sir Dalen sitting below the salt. A strange overlook, for which we were confused about. All of us were.
Dalen took it with grace, though.
At the beginning, I believe Sir Dalen was caught up in gossip. Beyond that, though, I can't remember much of the rounds except Dalen made a friend, the same friend as me, who bumped into me while drunk, and then I helped him out. In the same round, Sir Edward broke the heart of an already broken-hearted man who was inconsolable at a lost love.
Lost love.
Broken-hearted boy, to be honest.
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
Basically told him to shut the fuck up.
Yes. Then he insulted a woman who came up to ask him what he thought about the Fae. But fortunately, someone else came up who shared his worldly, cynical views. And then he was asked to share an embarrassing story about himself, which made someone mock him, who he then challenged to a duel.
Which is where we'll be starting this game. So, the following day in the courtyard. But there were a couple other pieces. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir Dalen was taught how to flirt by a man who got set on fire by embers. It burnt a hole in his pants, and he left the party. I believe it was the same friend who bumped into us while drunk. I was spoken to the bishop about my family and how love of family was important, and I think that was basically it. I avoided falling asleep. That was the rest of me.
One thing I do remember is I think Edward told a story or wrote a poem or something?
Yes, it impressed a lot of people. And I think you got oration skill for it.
I believe so.
That's right. Yep.
It was about killing Saxons and how that is really the path to true love.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
The romance of the Uther period. Ken Saxons.
Dallin also got, by that same friend, got asked to flirt with a lady, and it went too well, and he was very nervous, so he went home.
Yes, he backed out. My heart beats for you like I wish the Saxons wouldn't.
And did you mention what you folks learned about Madoc in that announcement?
Yes.
That was kind of important information for us to completely gloss over, yeah.
No, it's all good. I think it was a Edward interaction, right? Is that who got the?
Dallin got the first
Dallin got it, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, the signet ring is a Pendragon, Uther Pendragon signet ring, I think.
Yeah.
It was something that we noticed while in the forest that we told him to hide because it looked like too out of place at night traveling incognito. But yeah, it was the mark of the Pendragon, something that was further concreted by Uther Pendragon himself acknowledging him as his son.
Indeed. So this following day in today's events, we'll be going through the duel, which will take place in the morning, and then followed by the knighting of Madoc, son of Uther. Illegitimate son of Uther, by the way, that was made quite clear.
Yeah.
But, when a prince decides to claim someone as legitimize someone, who's going to argue? And Uther, for those confused, they're like, wait a minute, Prince Uther, does that mean his dad? No. So Prince Uther, because his brother King Aurelius Ambrosius is a king now. So spoilers, that might change at some point.
Might not work out for
him. Right? Okay, so we can go ahead and dive in. I'll just switch us around here and switch us over to the courtyard. There we go. All right. So the following morning, maybe I should ask for any of you folks, is there anything you would have done with the remainder of your night, like prior to the next day?
Sleep.
Yeah, I literally got the exhausted card and was fighting off sleep every turn, so that was definitely part of it. But Sir Goratrix would have definitely said his goodbyes very courteously to all that he spoke with, except the guy with the burny pants, because he couldn't find him and he still doesn't know who he is. He would, however, have offered his services as a second in the duel to Sir Edward, if he would have him.
Yeah, why don't we play that out real quick? Just, it can be short, but it'd be... And so we'll say this is like, the feast is winded down and people are starting to return to wherever they're staying for the night in the various halls of the castle and out into the other places they've been offered guest stay. And this would be Edward and Goratrix.
The fine clothes of Sir Goratrix seem like too small for Goratrix's frame, and some of it is covered in the various fats and greases of the meats that have been handled around. But despite that, he stifles a yawn as he approaches, but his eyes are bright and wakeful, mainly because in the previous 5 minutes there was a declaration of a duel.
Yep. Edward can probably easily be found as he is sitting in one of the many hallways of the castle, sitting on a small wooden bench where he has his sword out, and he's currently polishing it and making sure that it is nice and shiny and hopefully a little sharper. Seems to have taken whatever was said to him to cause the duel quite personally. He is, of course, still wearing his courtly clothes, but he doesn't really seem to be that fast.
Sir Gortrix approaches, as if the naked steel in Edward's hand doesn't concern him at all, because it doesn't. He's a friend. Why would a sword in his hand matter? And he approaches, goes, Sir Edward, I did not hear what happened, but I know you would not challenge him for no reason. Did he insult your honor? Is there anything I can do?
Edward looks up for a moment towards his friend, paused for a moment, kind of thinking through the events of the night and what led him to declare a challenge. He goes, yeah, he insulted my honor. I'm looking to reclaim it through this duel.
It's good that you waited. Dueling immediately while one's blood is up, they tend to regret it once they are finished, mainly because they lose. But tomorrow, if you feel the duel still needs to take place, I offer my services as a second.
I appreciate it. No, would surely be thankful for your company in that matter. As well, I think another good reason not to do battle in that very court was, well, the king would probably have my head. Nonetheless.
This is an interesting faux pas. I am not a very courtly creature, but yes, I know that much.
Yes. But I do not plan to lose this duel. I can tell you that much.
I have no doubt you'll emerge victorious. But
though I am, in honesty, unsure of exactly who I am dueling.
That could be an issue. I do not know myself.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that
It will all be made clear tomorrow morning.
that's a really good point, because you never received introductions by name per se, right? No.
Yeah, it was just the guy who mocked him, and then the duel happened.
You know what? I'm gonna give Edward here, or Gortrix, here, just in the off chance, a recognized roll. Maybe
I am not. Yeah.
You're not
I'm
good
not
at it.
great at that.
No, that's
So let me add failure.
saying you're not good in something in Pendragon is like just saying I'm playing Pendragon. By the way, like both skills awful until they're not. So, yeah. So you can barely remember the scenario. We'll say that you caught it briefly.
Some hedge knight.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But should the duel still take place tomorrow, when blood has cooled, I shall be there by your side.
Thank you, Gortrix. I appreciate it.
Now I need to sleep for approximately 12 hours. This has taken a lot out of me.
Yes, fair enough. Well, I should probably do some more prep before I rest. He continues to sharpen his sword.
I'll see you on the morrow.
Until then.
Edward, what is your energetic?
I believe it's 10. Yeah.
Okay. And what is your pride? Sorry.
Pride is 7.
Interesting. Okay, I want you to tick pride and tick energetic for me.
All right.
This will be rolled later on. Perfect. All right. So with that, we can jump back to the courtyard scene, and I'll bring you guys over because I haven't done that. All right, there we go. So Jareth's not alone. He's got those same 2 younger knights alongside him that are they're with him. Dallin, are you present for this? I imagine.
That's an excellent question. That will really come down to whether or not Edward or Gortrix want to inform Dallin that this is happening, just out of courtesy.
Edward would probably... Yeah, Edward would probably invite Dallin along.
In that case, Dallin will look uncomfortable, but come.
That's fair. That's fair.
Salisbury buddies.
Yeah.
That's true. We are all from the same county. We got to stick together.
Dallin, you can go ahead and click. You can go ahead and check recognize as well as you get to see this.
Wonderful.
You can find out he's one of the best sword fighters in the country.
That's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, Dallin, just for a brief second, you swear that this younger knight looks familiar, but you can't place why. You can't really recall who it is. He's standing there ready by the time Edward and Gortrix and Dallin arrive. He's there with two other younger knights. They're for this sort of event. The standard method, especially for something like an insult, would be to first blood, but you would wear your armor, you'd have your sword, you'd have your shield, right? People do sometimes die in first blood.
Yes.
First blood, right? Odds are very low for anyone trained, but it's worth noting that it's a dangerous enough event to where it's taken seriously.
Did we have to, get permission from the Lord of the Castle or the Lord of the area to do this, or is it just normal?
Yeah, you can assume that was arranged. Basically, the announcement's made and no one overrules it, and is ultimately what this will come down to. And I'm going to say that you followed proper protocol in the sense that you didn't, you didn't interrupt the feast. You waited till the next day when no one was drunk. These things like this appear much more above the books and proper. And more importantly, you're not really interrupting Madoc's knighting ceremony today. So this is fair. That would be at the high.
Yes, let us delay until it is happening and do it in the courtyard where it occurs. I feel that is the best way.
I should note this is the place where the knighting should take place. And actually, we're gonna say
where's there blood everywhere?
We're gonna say Lad is here as well. So as you're entering, you see Sir Lad almost observing. He's up near the stairs as you enter the courtyard, and he just kind of shouts to all of you, and he says, "Try not to make this too bloody. There's an event today. I'd prefer if you don't interrupt it."
Of course, we will do our best, will we not? As he turns to his opponent.
All right. So this is pretty basic Pendragon combat. They're ultimately contested roles unless you're using one of the fancy combat maneuvers. I'd recommend you don't bother unless you've got a specific plan that you worked out ahead of time, which, as we're entering into the game, I'm going to guess that you don't have advanced strats planned, Mark, yet.
No.
Okay.
I throw sand in his eyes.
Yeah.
Drive them into the water. Use swimming skill.
The old sand toss. Yeah. There was an old game I used to play that there was a maneuver you could do with sand toss, and you could do it infinitely. You could just keep throwing it in someone's eyes, and they. Anyways. So for Edward here, Jareth is present. It's very clear that he is no simple mercenary knight. He's dressed in chain. He has a bannerman with him by bannerman, I mean someone carrying a banner, not.
Does he have any heraldry with him?
Yes, he does.
Could I roll heraldry to see if I recognize it?
Yes, absolutely.
That's a
We know
success.
who he is.
Oh, we know where
He's from.
Yeah. So he is from Newton Manor in Salisbury.
Oh,
So just to throw you over to the
It's a local.
yes, he is, which makes a lot more sense as to why Elad is out here shouting at you guys. This is essentially some internal folk not getting along. So, Mark, you're from Idmiston, right?
Yeah.
Did I throw you guys over? I did. Okay. So Idmiston's up here, and then we're looking for Newton, not to be mistaken with Newton Tony, which is a different one. Newton is over
There it is. It's right. Yeah, you got it.
okay.
Basically neighbors.
Very close to me. It's closer to me.
Yes, remember that I mentioned that you recognize them for some reason, but you quite remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Familiar lad.
Yeah, you probably, had some childhood moments with this person. So
I've been away for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we shall watch as he is torn apart.
yes, indeed. So the basics of Pendragon combat is for this sort of thing, you're basically contesting your role against one another. If you are both successful, then it comes down to the person with a higher number. If one of you fails and one of you succeeds, then it's the person that succeeds that hits. If both are successful and you're the lower number, it means that you can add your shield to your armor, which might be the difference between drawing first blood or not. So succeeding is good regardless. And I'll remind you guys, if it's super important in this game, there is a risk to it, obviously, but you can always choose to invoke a passion if there's something that you can call on. Honor can be a good one in this sort of scenario, if you'd like.
I hate Saxons.
Is he a Saxon? Yeah.
I hate Saxons so much, I'm willing to kill you over.
It gives you a significant bonus. Failing it is really bad, like really, really bad. Just kind of control your character effectively for a little while. So, or
Oh, right. How they go into brain fever or go on mad quests or fall into insanity.
Yeah, it's trying to go with that whole King Arthur theme of the knight running off, Sir Lancelot, etc. But if you don't get really, really bad, even a fail is a -5 on your rolls. So they're 5 worse than they would be otherwise. All right. So with this, Mark, do you want to invoke your passion?
No. I think he's just gonna roll sword because it's very good at it.
All right. So, Sir Jareth, kind of presents himself to you. There's a slight nod. He raises his shield, raises his sword, and then the duel is underway.
No. Yeah. Edward nods as he puts on his helmet, brings up his shield, and readies his sword. Let's go.
Fight well and with honor.
Try not to lose an arm or a leg. I imagine that would make things inconvenient.
Nobody lose anything.
All right. So we're going to contest sword.
Sword.
Kick his ass, Edward. Yeah.
A success?
Yeah.
Ooh, he rolled a higher success.
Oh, no.
Bro, he rolled. It's less that he rolled a higher success and more that he has a higher number.
That's right. Because
Well, yeah.
yeah,
He succeeded by more.
lower numbers better in this one. That's right.
No. Its price is
No.
So
Yeah.
the closer you get to the number, you have
get
to
to it without going over.
Yeah, Johnny. In fact, if you hit your threshold, you critical, and that would
That's
be
whack.
the best
Yeah.
scenario for you. So the good news is you get to add your shield.
Yeah. How much is that?
That's a really good question. I believe it's 5 or 3. Thomas, can I get you to look that up for me?
I'm doing it right now. Let me just move this to the side. Armor and shields, page 138. Shield. See die roll resolution. A shield grants 6 additional points of armor reduction to the loser of an opposed combat resolution roll with a partial success.
6? Is that what you said?
6 additional points of armor, yeah. Okay. Can also use it for a slam, but I don't think that's necessary right now.
Right. Okay, so that gives you, 16 is your threshold? So there's a really good chance this guy's going to draw first blood on you, but let's see what happens here. It's possible I roll low, or, poorly. So we do have to factor in, so that was 16, so 6 carries over? So you actually take 6 to your hit points. And then, what is your major wound? Do you know what your major wound score is?
Major wound is...
It'll say next to your con.
16?
Okay, perfect. So this is not a major wound for you. What's your hit points? I'm almost positive it's not a major.
24.
No.
Currently it's 24.
Yeah. No, this won't be a major wound for you. All right. So, just thematically, Goretrix raises his shield, lowers it. Or Edward, sorry. I'm mixing this up constantly. Apologies, guys. I'll get it right. So Edward, you raise your sword. You have his sword coming down or moving in a sideways motion as you're bringing yours down. This guy, he's pretty strong, and just the way he carries his sword, he's quite skilled in it. Perhaps a bit more skilled than you are. And before you can land your blow, he manages to raise his shield high enough to block your swing, and he draws first blood. You feel the clank, and you kind of reel, but you don't fall over. And when you look down, you can see your hand. You're holding your side, and you see a little bit of red forming on your armor.
Sorry, I have to close the door.
Good. Edward just kind of looks down at his now bloodied gauntlet, swearing to himself quietly.
Jareth says, "A bastard should know his place."
Edward just grimaces towards him. And then, though he sighs, he goes, "I yield. This victory is yours."
Dallin will, if Edward hasn't gotten up already, Dallin will move over and offer a hand.
Oh, Edward is standing. He's just holding his side a little bit.
Yeah, in case you're on your own, bio.
Jareth certainly has a cocky, look to him as he has completed this and then continued to add insult to injury. He sheathes his sword and turns to his friends and doesn't acknowledge Edward any further. He just kind of glances over at Dallin and Goretrix, kind of almost like mocking them as well without saying anything. Just that smug look on his face as he almost walks between Edward and Goretrix and Dallin, exiting the courtyard. His two friends.
Goretrix says before he leaves. So sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, you're good. Jareth stops.
There is no need to act so You won. Why rub his face in it?
I think it's important that those born of illegitimate line know where they belong, the same as the commoners that serve our fields. They think themselves better than they are, then the world loses its purpose and its meaning.
Well, thank God you're not like that.
He smiles. Gorge.
Edward would just...
Oh, go ahead, Edward.
Oh, it's mostly as he's leaving, Edward will turn and go. Next time we cross blades, you will not be so lucky. That I promise you.
Indeed.
We got his name now, yes?
You do, yeah, Sir Jareth. You know where he lives.
We know where he lives. Get him.
Jareth, I hope you don't mind me asking, but Gordrick never mentioned to us what exactly the conflict was for. Why did you feel the need to duel this morning?
That was to who, sorry?
That was to Sir Jareth.
Jareth, okay. He shrugs. I suppose I offended. It's almost like he forgets Edward's name.
God, this guy's a dick. We'll kill him.
The Idmiston one over there, Edward. I made a comment meant not for his ears. He heard it and took offense. He was the one who called for this duel. It's been dealt with. Perhaps we can all move on now. He's a cocky little shit. I shouldn't say literally. He's rather big in stature. He stands over 6 foot tall. But he's not the most stout, muscular. You know, he's got more of a thin build to him, and you can tell he's probably not practiced in more of a hardy lifestyle. He's probably been pampered for the most part and groomed for this sort of scenario versus an actual battlefield.
Well, moving on is, I think, good advice. But I'd advise you to think of what you say to others next time.
I believe there's a ceremony starting fairly soon. We might want to clear our way out.
Yes, Edward, he fumbles around for various, and something like a fanny pack that he left like on the side of the court. I bought some supplies just in case, sir. Do you require your wounds covered?
I appreciate it. I just need something to stem the bleeding. It's not much, but it's annoying.
And I'm just going to put us on pause for half a sec. Something's happening with my stream. Apologies, guys.
Suddenly, the audio isn't working again, and it's just been the three of us reacting to invisible sounds.
It's more like so.
Mine's looking okay from where I'm at. We're back on the Pendragon homepage. I do love that homepage. It's so nice with their little faces up and the coat of arms. It's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
Can someone check and just see if stream's still running?
Yep, it's still running. It still looks good to me. The only weirdness that I saw on my end, I've had it up pretty much the whole time, just my peripheral, was popped up like a enter your Twitch password thing for you. Yeah, other than that, it's been looking fine. For me, at least.
Yeah, it's like it disconnected from Twitch what I'm trying to figure out here. So
Looks like it's still running though. So
Yeah, seems to be working.
okay, just give me a sec because OBS says it's logged out, which is what's working.
well, that's strange.
I will stop watching that because it's confusing me. But yeah, this guy, like, you know, where's the role for racism against Sir Jareth?
Yeah.
Like, maybe the Saxons aren't that bad. Maybe the Irish, like, are okay, but this guy I chokeslam.
Maybe he really is a Saxon, quite secretly.
Saxon in disguise.
Secret Saxon.
Secret Saxon.
The new hip game coming to communities near you. Instead of giving gifts, you just assassinate people's forefathers.
Take a look at the hat there, Bob.
All right, I think I got it up and going here. Let me just. Okay. All right, sorry about that random pause there. I just lost disconnect. I disconnected not too long after that Bonway said, "Bruh, you stole my name." I'm like, what's going on here? Why am I losing access? Anyways, I'm back.
Are you really, Bob?
Gosh. Yeah. I had like the Spider-Man clone moment. All right. So, is there anything, as Jareth exits the scene, is there anything the three of you do as far as convert? Is there any further conversation between the three of you right now?
Goratrix would definitely offer some bandages in his fanny pack for bleeding, staunching reasons.
Yeah.
Edward.
And I'm not sure. Yeah. Sorry, you go.
So Edward just kind of wraps his wounds, but doesn't really have too much to say on the matter. He just looks a little downtrodden, disheartened by this.
Edward, you do have a squire for tending to your wounds, so you'd be able to have them patch you up.
I feel like this is embarrassing enough. He doesn't want his squire to see him like this.
Yeah.
Squire number one, he doesn't have to be here.
For sure.
Fine.
Squire number three is already dead.
Yeah, we need to give those squires names.
Yeah.
But we'll reserve that for a more meaningful scene with squire.
Their names are Thomas, Mark, and Liam for some reason.
Okay, so moving into the next scene, if there's nothing to add, we'll go to Madoc's ceremony.
Yeah. Goratrix would just express confusion and disappointment at Jareth's lack of courtesy.
It was very much a lack of courtesy, that's for certain. There's no two ways about that one. So
the battle began for an insult. It seems odd that he would do it again. Perhaps I should duel him. No, that would... But I could. But I won't.
You could, but there's certainly, technically the matter has been solved, so it'd have to be... Not have to be, but, it would be improper typically to try and continue on that. But if there are any more, like if you took offense to his second slight, that's technically grounds, right? These are how feuds happen.
Just keep on
dueling him. You will certainly see more of Jareth because he is a local knight, so he will be in your local feasts and courts.
Oh joy! We poison him.
All right. So we're gonna blow past the ceremony a bit, but it would actually be Prince Uther who would knight Matt. Yeah, it would be Uther who knights Madoc in this case, just for the privilege of doing so. The king, of course, is here and gives his blessing, and Merlin actually stands relatively close to Uther, just kind of at his back a bit. The ceremony goes off well. There's a bigger crowd present and paying attention than your average knighting, right? Knighting a future prince is a significant event, to say the least. Once Madoc is done and stricken across by his father, after saying his vows, he stands as Sir Madoc. And then there's kind of a bit more of a social mingling afterwards. There are various folks here, just to throw him back out here to Jareth's here with his buddies off in the corner. And the three of you find yourselves together, standing and mingling.
And to think, he thought that we were going to fight him. I mean, we weren't going to, but we especially weren't going to if we knew he was like the son of the prince.
That is true enough. Stranger things keep, but I suppose there would be many that would not be happy with such a reveal.
I'm more or less curious why Merlin was with the boy. Everything about this just seems so weighted, I guess.
Merlin has a reputation. I, myself, do not know what to think. All of the rumors say various things, but I liked him. He seemed nice.
Seems like a strange old man to me, but I digress.
I wonder who would have won if he had fought us.
Dallin looks like they're gonna say something, but then they don't.
Edward looks like he's about to say something, but then thinks against it.
He must be fairly skilled, but I am bigger than him.
I feel like challenging one of our liege lord's house. It's not a smart plan.
Yes, you are right. It is idle curiosity. Also, technically, he did think we were going to fight him first. And for reasons that I still do not understand.
I mean, it doesn't matter how strong he is. If he's going to take on 3 people at once, well, perhaps he just needs more tutelage.
I bet he could do it. I could do it if the people were unskilled enough.
We are not unskilled.
At this point, Sir Madoc, after making a bit of rounds with others, approaches the three of you quite directly. He's already wearing that pride of being a knight, and he's it's worn in his posture. There's just an air about him that has taken to the mantle of being within the royal blood quite quickly. You can tell. And he kind of approaches as if maybe a bit closer to you than he is. He rests an arm on Goratrix's shoulder and for amusement too, and onto Dalin's shoulder, and kind of clasps your shoulders and says, friends, thanks for coming. As if there was any choice.
I would not.
Of course. Do you know what you're going to do with the summer campaign?
I confess, no. There were 2 main theaters that were discussed, yes?
Yes, of course. And, well, I would be remiss if I didn't invite you along with my father and I. You see, my father is to lead the counter-assault against that traitor in the Irish to the west of here.
I see.
The main army will, of course, stay with the king and prepare for, well, the potential imminent threat of the Saxons.
Well, I would feel like we would be remiss to turn down an offer to fight alongside you and Uther Pendragon.
Yes, certainly an honor to fight at the side of the princes.
Just as my father and my uncle did.
He beams at that. The comment about princes. He hearing the plural, hearing himself referenced is kind of like, he kind of has this moment like, yeah, I am. He kind of turns his head to the side. Well then, I won't keep you, but I did hear about the duel today, Edward. I heard the words that were exchanged. Your Sir Lad from Salisbury told me about the bastard reference.
It's nothing that really should concern you, my lord.
You're damn right it to me. Yeah, I have no right to speak of these things. I don't know how difficult it is to be born out of wedlock, to suffer as we suffer. It builds strength and character. I trust that you'll be able to move past this minor shaming, and perhaps one day you'll find a better opportunity to pay him back in turn.
That is the hope. And it is not the first time I've been demeaned by my station and blood. But I will prevail as I always do. But I do appreciate it.
Nor will it be the last, I'm afraid. I mustn't let it get to you. Your sword arm can be left weaker, reduced by your uncertainty. You must be certain. Killer, knight that you are, must be certain. You do find it strange that he seems to be drawing a parallel to knight and killer, as if they're identical. It's almost like he's saying a knight is nothing more than a murderer, but he doesn't apologize or double back on that. Stays with him.
Indeed, my lord. Well, it has certainly been great to speak with you, and again, congratulations on your knighting, Sir Madoc.
Indeed, and I hope that I see all three of you then. We'll have plenty of time to speak to one another more on our trip to the west.
And yes, when it does come to Sir Jareth, if you need it, we will break his legs.
Oh. Break his legs. Well, if the time calls for it. But is he cleaved from his shoulders? That would be a better fit of such things. If he continues his mouth and I hear it, he will face me instead of you.
The man is discourteous, but I do not believe him to be deserving of death yet.
We will have to see how things continue.
We shall.
And with that, he kind of notices someone else trying to get his attention. He ends up wandering over to Duke Ulfius. The majority of the folks from the feast last year are actually present. Do any of you want to speak to any of the folks from yesterday? Or, yeah, the day before.
Let me see. Of the people, one of them who... Who was that? Well, one of the people who Gardrix interacted with was, though he does not know his name yet, Sir Elias.
Yes. Yep.
Otherwise known as Bernie Pants Boy.
Yes. The infamous Bernie Pants Boy.
Dallin would like to avoid Bernie Pants Boy.
That's fair.
I heard you offered my friend advice with women.
Just give me a sec as I fix the cameras. I did manage to mute minus Discord that time. So,
Excellent.
I would also, at some point, like to speak to Sir Robert of Jegnart. Gigant.
Absolutely. One sec. All right.
Also, did you see the message I put in the Discord server for you?
Let me check. I can't check on the
I can just tell you too. It's not a secret or anything.
Good.
Only that the it looks like the stream's still on the homepage. They aren't seeing the Roll20 right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. They were before. I can switch back and forth when it was just the talking moment. But yeah, good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So we called for. Let's see, Robert and Bilius. So give me 1 sec to add them.
Sir Madoc seems a good man, albeit perhaps too quick to speak of murder. But he has a good heart.
He is still quite young. He has much to learn in what it means to be a knight.
He spoke quite well of it and the protection of realm and the people earlier, though he is 2 years younger than us, I think.
I do
But there is...
have to admit that I felt that I'm not quite sure what I felt. Ominous? I'm not sure how the young knight makes me feel.
I like him.
I do too.
And I suppose I do as well.
He is the prince after all.
As he said, there will be more chances to get to know him.
Indeed.
Why don't we, for Dallin, I want you to check suspicious real quick.
Dallin time. Yeah,
Down time.
Where's my lad?
How suspicious are you?
I am somewhere. I'm normal amount of suspicious.
You're an average amount of suspicious.
Shame.
That's okay. That's good. That when you're testing against that in particular, it just means that you're it just means that ultimately you're not. That's like a fail can be a good thing when you're testing against that sort of thing. When you're testing against a virtue, yeah. Because you're ultimately testing to say, hey, is this going to be a problem for me? And the answer is no, not really. So
great. And then do I mark that as in my little checkbox?
No, you do not. No, you don't have to. So if you succeeded at that, I was actually going to look into giving you what's known as a actually forget the name of it. I mean, just take a quick look. They're called
Gentleman's needs.
It's an add one.
That's
directed traits. Yeah, directed traits. So a directed trait is like a add-on to it. So you might be suspicious of 10, but you might be suspicious of Saxons at 15. So I was gonna test to see if you had suspicious of Madoc at a higher level, effectively.
Well, yeah, that's probably not a great one to have right now. Or maybe an excellent one to have. Who knows? They could see the betrayal coming a mile away.
All right. So Belius, or Belius is probably how it's pronounced. You do see him mingling, and you see his proximity to the king and Uther is a bit. It stands out a bit to you. Very clearly, he has some honor to him, and some glory to him. He must be perhaps close with Uther, given his proximity.
Immediately, alarm bells start ringing in Sir Gardrix's brain, because he still does not know his name, still does not know his house, but just knows that he's someone he got along with and wants to be friends with.
Mm-hmm. And so he's coming out of another conversation. He kind of turns your way and looks surprised. As you again.
My lord, it's good to see you. You look much better than you did during the feast, if you do not mind me saying.
He leans in and he says, did I embarrass myself?
No, not at all.
Oh, good.
There was the incident with the trousers, but it happened near the end. A few people noticed.
Trousers? He seems confused by that.
A hole was burnt in them by some embers by the fire.
I was wondering where that came from. That explains that. I don't normally celebrate like I did last night, but I knew Uther told me about Madoc, and it was quite the thing quite the news, something to celebrate. For a long time, I worried about Uther not having a child.
So you are... I must embarrass myself very deeply. I do not know who you are. I am so sorry. I didn't get your name, but I think you are a good person.
You don't... Fair enough. You're from where again? Salisbury?
Correct. Of the manor of Winterbourne Stoke.
Yes, well... He's kind of drawing some, suggestion without saying it, kind of saying, well, that's what you get for being a country bumpkin a bit. He's not outright saying it, but he's like,
that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm Sir Belias, Abelius. I fought for a long time with Uther. Actually, we were friends as children. You immediately recognize that name, though, and you're because this is a war hero, basically from the so before Aurelius and Uther came back and took over. They were fighting a campaign in the mainland, and this is where Abelius' name is most known.
Yes, and he can just see like two giant meaty fingers just pinch the bridge of his nose, and I am so embarrassed. You even have a bell on your coat of arms. Yes, forgive me, I grew up on stories about Uther's early campaigns, and you featured in a lot of them.
Indeed. He looks like he's looking on as if ready to move on from this conversation. Not necessarily as if to slight you, but he's, VI slang, so to speak. He says, perhaps we'll have more time in the future to discuss these campaigns. I must admit, I do like to revisit my past. When it comes to previous glories and any stories that you might be interested in, I'd be happy to tell you more of it. Some of them are less outrageous than the versions you might have heard.
Perhaps. They were filtered through the voices of a father who was looking to impress his son. But yes, I would greatly enjoy that, perhaps at the next feast.
Perhaps. And remind me, Thomas, what was Gortrix's father was the brother of...
brother of the current lord?
Yeah.
Yes, Ebert's father, who I think was the one who died in the Night of the Long Night?
He did.
Yes.
So, yeah, okay. And so he's probably acting steward while Edric...
Yeah, well, Edric is coming of age.
Yeah.
He'd be about 14 by now, right? Or like 12?
No, he is 15. 16 years old. So he's...
Gotcha, because this is 3 years before.
Yeah, typically you wouldn't take over... Because it's a manor that's given to you as part of being a vassal knight, he wouldn't till he was knighted, he wouldn't take over that responsibility. Though his his influence would still stand.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you once again. And if nothing more is said, Gartrix will, like an 8-foot tall guy, just vanish into the crowd.
And how tall is Gortrix, by the way?
Size 18. I'm not sure how big that is.
It's big, but it's not Kimric max. It would be maximum for pretty much everyone else, but the Kimric are notably should be, for whatever reason, to this game. The Kimric or no, sorry, that's not size. My apologies. That's Constitution for Kimric. I imagine it's like Saxons or someone else that get the size to 21. So you are about as large as they come for the Kimric.
Gotcha. But yeah, not humongous, like the biggest of the Saxons.
Yes, exactly. And about that same time, Dallin, you have an encounter with Robert. You said you wanted to talk to Robert, right?
Oh, we lost Liam.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at something else. What's up?
I believe you wanted to talk to Robert. Is that
Correct. I would love to talk to Robert. I liked talking to him before, and I want to do it the second time.
Yeah. And so just a reminder, he's the one that tipped you off about the ring, right?
Correct. Yeah, he was the political savvy boy.
Yeah. So he, you can find him. He's mostly kind of not quite a wallflower, but he's mostly standing alone, kind of wandering your way, and then he looks up to recognize you and kind of gives you one of those "oh hey" looks, like I recognize you. He starts to move in your direction.
Good morning. Quite a show they put on for us.
Quite a show indeed. I must admit, it seemed that more were aware of this than I thought. Guess there's another of the royal blood. This is good news, not bad news.
It would certainly seem that your suspicions were correct, and on account of more people knowing about it than you thought, I suppose I can thank you for at least the inkling.
Yeah. Happy to be of help.
I don't believe I caught your name last night. I'm Sir Dallin of Durnford.
Ah. He kind of pauses. Durnford. My name is Sir Robert. I'm from Gigant. Durnford, I'm not familiar. This must be a manor. Which county?
Salisbury, sir.
Salisbury. Well,
I've been away for a few years overseas, so I'm still readjusting to being back.
I see. Did you fight on the mainland then?
A few campaigns, none of which I feel are worth mentioning.
He raised a brow at that. None of them. Surely there must have been something, my boy.
Some, but none that I personally feel are worth mentioning.
You're being too modest. It only serves you so much. You should be proud of those things that you've accomplished. He kind of moves past it at that point.
Thank God.
Yeah. So, tell me, this Count of yours, Count Roderick, what do you think of him?
Well, I think that he runs things well enough. My family has always felt that he's treated us fairly, and we've done our part to make sure that we continue to keep the machine turning, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah, the duties of being a knight, they're never slow, are they? They're always more to do, even in the dead of winter, it seems.
Of course. It certainly seems like there's no end to the hard work, but there's no problem with me.
But alas, we're not in winter. We're nearing summer now. It's time to campaign soon. This news is welcomed. Don't wish my sword arm to go unpracticed.
Are you fighting in the campaign with the Pendragons?
I think I'll go along with the prince if that is where my duke takes me. Then that is where I shall go. Because we are from the county of Cornwall, it seems likely that we will fight to the west.
Hopefully I'll see you in a more comfortable manner. In happier days.
Happier days. It'll please me to kill some Irish.
I'm sure there are many who think the same.
Is that Dallin's way of sort of skirting by agreeing?
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
There's gonna be a lot of that from Dallin.
Why don't you,
Damn those Saxons.
why don't you go ahead and test me courtesy on that one? I like that.
Sure.
It's kind of like going, that is indeed a stance to take. Yes.
Fumble.
Oh no!
Love it. No, that's perfect.
Oh no!
So Robert kind of turns to you and says, I see. I take it you some sort of I hold on, I'm pausing because Bob's like, okay, what do I add to I think he's like, so are you a sympathizer? You know what he'll say? That's perfect. So the former king or self-claimed king, Vortigern, had three kids. The youngest is the one that's literally bringing the Irish to England's shores. This is who your enemy is going to be, and he's going to immediately jump to a conclusion because you fumbled on this particular case. He's going to assume that you're a sympathizer of Vortigern's third child. He says, "Don't tell me that you're fallen league with that traitor."
No, sir. I wouldn't dream of such a thing. I only meant that my aggression lies more towards the Picts in the north. I find my family has history with them.
Fair enough. And does Dallin, I believe there's one of the traits is honesty, yes?
I do have a hate Picts X for Dallin.
Okay, so it's very sincere. Perfect. I'm going to say because of the previous fumble, he's still going to have a little bit of an irritation too, but it quells him for the most part. It's a good response, and so he simply taps Dallin on the shoulder and rather hard and says, "I hope that your sword arm will not hesitate when an Irishman stands before you. They would kill you, and they will not hesitate."
When the time comes, I'd be happy to show you the blood on my blade.
He nods. No need, my boy. No need. Well, perhaps I'll see you on the battlefield.
Perhaps. Farewell, Sir Robert.
With that, Robert basically goes off to find food.
Excellent. Dallin's gonna find a quiet corner to hyperventilate in for a little bit.
You're lucky you hate an ethnicity.
Yeah.
Why? Otherwise, blood would have been spilled this day.
I swear, I thought he was gonna call me an Irish lover for a second there, and I wasn't sure how I feel about that.
That was what I thought. And then, like Bob said, King Vortigern, and for one heartbreaking moment, I was like, he appeared. Like going, oh, what's that? You like the Irish?
Yeah, no, he is. With King Aurelius and Prince Uther here, the proper line of royalty has been established, and there's very little contest to it, at least in Logos, which is where you guys are from. I will give Edward and Goratrix an alertness roll, just kind of spy Dallin having a mild moment of, actually, you know what, we're going to give this to just Goratrix, because Edward was busy at the same time with Madoc.
Oh, thank God. Let's see if Thomas notices me panicking.
Oh, I was talking with.
You were. Sorry, Edward is what I meant.
Yeah.
I'm doing it again.
I don't know. No, worse. The blabbermouth or the angry boy? I don't know.
I am no blabbermouth. I just think everyone's cool.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Alertness. Where do I find alertness? Is it awareness?
Awareness is what I meant.
Yeah.
I'm pulling
We're
vampire bias here.
Chain together. Vampire. As a success.
There you go. Yeah, so you just see Dallin after coming out. It looks like Dallin just came out of a tense conversation with some knight you don't recognize, and then Dallin kind of retreats to a quiet area. Looks a bit panicked, or it looks as if they're coming down from a tense situation.
I think Edward would just kind of walk over, kind of darting between conversations, and eventually making his way over to where Dallin is. And would just kind of look at him for a moment, and just take a seat next to him quietly, not saying anything, just being there.
Oh, as soon as he notices you, he's gonna kind of jump a little bit. Oh, Edward, sorry. Never mind. What brings you to this corner of the room? The courtyard?
Curiosity, mostly. I noticed you were looking a little, pale. Yes, I'll go with that.
Pity. Yes, it's nothing. I've just been prone to these bouts of weariness since I was a child. It's nothing to be concerned about.
Do you want to talk about it?
No.
I'm not good at it all.
He laughs a little bit, and it's clear that kind of makes them feel a little bit better.
I think that's not highlight reel.
Yeah, he goes, thank you. I appreciate the effort nonetheless.
We're just going to sit there for a bit, kind of watching out. He himself is not really into this whole courtly stuff anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
He'd probably keep an eye out for Sir Anwar if he is around.
Yes, Sir Anwar is here. Sir Anwar is mingling with some of the knights. You can do a heraldry roll if you want.
All right.
That's tough.
That's my jam.
Yeah. So all the more reason.
Woo! That's 2.
You recognize that the Anwar is staying around a couple of knights that are wearing heraldry, though he himself is not. The knights are very clearly from Glevum.
Oh, what was that?
Glevum.
Where is that located? Curiosity.
That's a really good question. Let me just check. Bob looked it up before, and then Bob forgot. I will get you that info. Is known as oh god, I'm gonna butcher these names. What is it? Is it Gloucester? Gloucester. There we go. I knew there was some kind of funky establishment, like Lancaster or something. Okay, so it's now Gloucester. So it's like what Gloucester was back then, essentially.
All right.
But he doesn't seem to notice you at first. He's kind of looking around. He seems to have his eyes on Madoc and Prince Uther and King Aurelius. Kind of people watching the big names in the room.
I imagine most people's eyes would be on them.
Mm-hmm. It's not abnormal. It's not suspicious. It's a lot of people.
That's an assassin, though.
Yeah. It's not one of those things. Not brandishing his knives. He's kind of people watching. There's people talking around him, and he's in their group, but he's not really participating in their conversation.
All right. Edward probably just watch him for a bit, and if he does kind of look over, Edward would kind of wave to him with kind of a half-hearted kind of arm salute sort of thing. He just kind of like, oh well.
Yeah, with that, he kind of turns back to his folks and says something, and then he starts over towards Edward.
Yeah. Makes his way over. Edward would kind of nod. Good to see you again, friend. I hope your night was well.
It was. The morning less so.
Fair to that.
He looks like he's gonna say something and he doesn't, and then he kind of moves back to look at the king and Madoc. Well, what do you think of this campaign to the west and the Irish invaders?
Well, certainly an interesting time to be around, especially to be a knight in. I think, well, the only way forward seems to be with, steel and blood.
Indeed. Such is the way of the knights. We're not trained to think, we're trained to kill.
I suppose so. But, well, we do as our liege lords command, as is our duty and our honor.
Yes, of course. He sounds more half-hearted in the last part, but...
Yeah.
No.
Tell me, what are your plans with the, upcoming skirmishes? You coming to join us in the front lines?
Of course. I'm close to the western shores. Dealing with the Irish, well, bigger threat to my lands than the Saxons. The Saxons would have to find their way through London before they ever end up where I am.
Yeah, fair for that. Yeah, the Saxons have made way further enough to enter your lands. Well, surely I haven't done my job right.
Indeed.
It seems the way of it. Saxons on one side, Irish threatening on the other. Next you know, the Picts will take themselves further south.
No, don't get me started on the Picts. I lost a cousin to the last raid. Those bastards.
Well, here's hoping that this will be a new era. And our king will lead us further into it.
Yes.
One where we find ourselves less faced with less bloodthirsty enemies.
Quite so. And with this additional news of Madoc, well, that offers us further depth in this royal lineage. Something to assure that nothing like Vortigern the traitor ever occurs again.
Indeed. I sure do hope nothing like that ever does happen again. I digress. I'm curious as to understand what your thoughts of Madoc are. Have you spoken to him much?
I haven't actually had the opportunity yet. He seems to be fitting in rather quickly to this role. If you had asked me yesterday before I knew him, I would have called him pompous, but if he is Uther's son and he knows it, then it is a proper pride.
Indeed. He has surely climbed his way through the ranks. So I do hope he grows to be most worthy of it.
Something tells me he might. What about yourself, Edward? Do you plan to campaign?
Indeed. I, in fact, have an offer from Madoc himself to join him and his father as we battle directly against the traitor's forces.
Quite so. The Irish are few in the way of knights, but one has to be careful with their numbers. If the rumors are as true as they are, then there are many ships that could be sailing this way. The King of Ireland is mustered a large retinue, then we may find ourselves outnumbered.
Perhaps. Well, I do hope that we will prevail in the coming battles. After all, we have the true king on our side, as well as God. But we will carry the swords necessary.
Yes, we will. He seems to pause and think a bit. The reference to the addition of God. Actually, I'm going to get you to give me an intrigue roll here in this particular case.
All right. This guy doesn't like Fae. He's weird about God. The guy's like,
What is this guy?
yeah.
Hey, there you
What's
go.
next? He doesn't like
Hey!
And because your number is so low, and I think it's amusing, you can go ahead and tick intrigue.
Yeah.
Because you've been through the social meat grinder this episode for sure. So he you pick up for certainty the mention of God, the inclusion of God, because it was almost like an add-on the way Edward said it, offered a bit of an eye roll, and you're certain it was that, because he was right along with you until that inclusion came along. It was definitely a groaning moment for him, though he kept it in. In fact, looked around a bit afterwards to make certain that no one saw his reaction.
Edward kind of pauses for a moment, but in a way, he also kind of understands. I all feel a little far-fetched to see what you're saying. Though, I suppose, it is our blades that carry forth the king's justice.
Yes. As knights, we are sworn to kill for the king. And of course, justice is one measure of such. There are times that call for our swords, be they commoner or the enemies of the king themselves.
It's interesting. Not the first time I've heard to us knights referred to as killers. I do wonder if that's all we're good for.
Yeah. So if you recall too, this is the Captain Pragmatist, which is why he liked your comment about the no fae thing. So when your Edward's last line was remind me, it was something about you wonder.
Oh yeah, I often wonder if it's the case if they are just killers.
Yes.
Or if there's something more to it.
He would shake his head and kind of look down. You sense like a bit of a flashback for him as he's cycling through his memories, and he says, I'm afraid in this case there's rarely more. Duty and killing, that is what we are readied for. It's all we do, it seems.
Well, perhaps eventually we will enter a time where we have no war. A true time of peace.
He
lets out a humorless laugh.
Okay. He screws up his face for a moment at Edward, and then when Edward follows it up with a laugh, he laughs as well. That seems to catch his attention. He says, I've not heard a good joke in a long while. Thank you for that. This is also the first smile you've seen him have.
Well, I'm only glad that I could bring humor to your day.
It was good getting to know you this feast, Edward. Perhaps we'll have opportunities to drink again.
Indeed. I hope so too.
And with that, he simply moves on. He's not the best at courtesy, so he does his best to be polite, but it's awkward.
Edward does the same in a very awkward manner.
Yeah.
Neither are good at courtesy.
All right. So, is there anything else anyone...
Idealism. Jabbed into his heart. Sorry, you go.
What were you saying?
This guy needs idealism. Like, Edward's just founded the correct fallen knight, and everyone's just discussing, no, we're killers, nothing more.
Yeah.
I guess we're getting into the era where people become more knightly.
Yes, yeah. So there is a big, there is a distinction very clearly made in this game around the eras before the Boy King, where the romance and the Arthurian side, this is more in league with like Game of Thrones than it is with, or real life, than it is with.
They did do a red wedding.
Yeah, there was literally
they did.
They did do that though.
The long knives in this game, even like the Knight of Long Knives is like the Saxons being like, hey, oh, we lost someone. We lost Thomas.
It happened.
Yeah, it did.
My computer ran out of battery, and with that, my webcam. So I'm sorry, people, if that was jarring. But I am back.
No worries.
It did. Looks like it did screw up our faces on the stream, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, good, buddy. It happens.
Yeah, I can't shift it back, so we might go cameraless for a short bit. We're end of scene, so that was perfect. I was gonna actually ask if there was anything more, but I think I'm just gonna rule that there's not. There's no more for that. I'd like to do before we close on stream. Maybe we can do some calculations of glory out of the feast, because we're done with the feast.
Indeed.
So I'm going to give you all 10 glory for the bringing the boar to the king.
L to the yeah.
So I'll get you guys to track this for now on your sheet. I think there is a part that's called like glory gain this session. I know there is on the real sheet. Let me check.
Yes, there is glory this game.
Glory this game. So that's where you'll calculate when I tell you, hey, you're earning glory for this, maybe make a note there. Then if you want to keep more detailed logs, that's helpful and appreciative, but I'm not going to be too anal about that.
I'll just write them in Discord.
Okay.
That's 10 you said, yes?
10 for just the boar.
Okay.
Yep. And then you're all going to get 50 for seeing Sir Madoc knighted. This is a big enough event. You can be like, I was there when it happened.
Yeah.
Then there's the genealogy piece. So I'm going to try to help here with the Book of Feasts. So give me 1 sec. So you guys had your genealogy scores from last time?
Yep.
And that directly turns into glory. So I just need to look that up. Cue elevator music. My book of feast is not opening. No.
We picked a good time for the technical difficulties, but I can't do the dance anymore.
We do have that immortalized, though.
Yes, we do. Maybe you can just like edit it in somehow.
Yeah, we need so we can just cue it whenever there's any sort of technical weird. I'm having trouble opening the Book of Feasts, which is awesome. So give me a sec.
Man, getting seated near the salt is very good for geniality. Because, I didn't do too much to gain geniality, but Edward lost tons, but still ended up, higher than Dalen.
Yeah. Getting one around when it's a large feast like that, too, turns out super useful.
I was surprised Edward had any by the end of it, but he did.
Yeah.
Mark, continue to get boned by the dice, it seems.
So much.
Oh, that's got us all backwards. Why did you camera tamba? Oops. All right, I got the Book of Feasts open. Give me a second while I look this up.
Oh, good. But yeah, currently, things seem more grim. They're more worldly. People worry about, foreign invaders. And there's much less of the, crazy fun passion that the Arthurians had.
Yes.
There's very few, random jousts with, green knights that ask knights to sleep with their wives.
Yeah. Well, the later part maybe, but everything else not so much. No, but you're right, and that's by design, I guess, for how they design it. So the cool thing is you kind of go from this almost medieval feeling, and then you hit the Boy King period, and especially the phase of I think it's Boy King phase, and then you're into the conquest period where Arthur is king. And then after that, it's okay, he's conquested. He is the High King. That's that era of ultimate, romance and all that.
Yeah.
And then Lancelot ruins it, and you're on to the next point.
Fucking Lancelot. I don't like Lancelot. I'll beat his face in.
Okay.
I think one of the Knights of the Round Table, I think it was probably Galahad, is basically one author's take on what if Lancelot, but not a dick?
Yeah.
Lancelot, but not French.
Exactly.
For an Englishman, he was very French.
Lancelot is basically there because, courtly love was getting very popular in France.
Yeah.
And Lancelot was the ultimate expression of it. But I can't sleep with my liege lord and best friend's wife. But what if?
Unless.
What if we kissed within the royal bedrooms? Haha, just kidding. Unless.
Okay, so here's some extra things. You get 100 glory because this was a royal feast.
Ooh.
Yep. And then you get your geniality times 10.
Oh.
1,500, total? Just for being there?
1,500.
Geniality times 10.
Yeah.
So you would get 10. Oh.
Yeah, it's not much. Yeah. The only way, so just so you know, if you manage to land above the salts, you gain 100 for your character.
That is a lot.
Oh, that is a lot.
You can't
I've got to increase my appearance.
The downside is you don't get to draw cards when you're above the salt.
Really?
Only in tree. You can do the other things, but cards like the random events, you're above it happening kind of thing.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Like, below and near the salt seem more fun if you can't, like, do all of that good shit.
Yeah. I've seen people, like, roll higher and get, or be stationed for one event and be above the salt, and they're like, oh, I miss all that sweet card action. So, yeah.
Exciting.
All right, so that is the scores going in. When we play next time, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the battlefront, the campaign to the west.
Yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
So right into those good old fun moments.
Real battle, and we die on the first roll.
It is possible. This game shares a base with Call of Cthulhu, and you'll note that it asks you to build 2 characters. There's a reason for that. But the likelihood, I'll say, to die is probably a bit better than Call of Cthulhu because you're trained to do this. You're also not fighting giant gods that have awoken from sleep that are going to devour you. So there's always a bonus for that. At least not yet. Like, that could happen.
Yeah, I know. I was just waiting for the yet.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Just wait until Nimue just awakens something that should never have been.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what'll get back at Merlin. Cthulhu. Cthulhu will get back at Merlin.
I'm going to summon Cthulhu.
Yeah, I'm into that idea, actually. That sounds like fun.
Sign me up.
Before God, before the spirit, before the Fae, there were these things. Tilted them.
All right. So I just cut over to a black screen for this last bit. At least has me on the camera for now. Let's do some outros. We'll start with Thomas.
Beautiful. Once again, I am Thomas. I hope you guys had a wonderful time. Sorry for the technical difficulties partway through, but all was good. I am a digital ghost. Look for me nowhere. If you find me, I'll come for you.
Fair enough.
He will do it, folks. It's true.
He will. I've seen him do it.
I did.
Which means you die too.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, for my goodbyes, I have been Mark. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Those of you who are either watching now or will watch in the future, future time stuff. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys have fun, and I hope you guys tune in next time. Yeah, I am also no one on the internet, so see you guys then.
There's a common theme here. I'll let you guys figure out what that is. Let's go to Liam.
Yeah, I'm Liam. I playing Dallin. Yeah, I do have a Twitter. It's not got many followers, but you're welcome to join it. I'm at Darth Coakley at twitter.com, and I say funny things sometimes, so I will not be continuing the digital ghost trend.
Breaking that.
Does say funny things,
Yeah.
but it does mean he can be found. The hunters will be released.
Yeah.
And I'm the GM Bob. I mostly have no digital footprint on purpose. So, damn it, I should have gone before Liam. But I do have a Twitter somewhere, but I forget what it is, so it's not relevant. I never use it. We will be probably opening up the Discord, to invite in any fans of the show as it goes along. We'll also be hosting this on YouTube. I'll make sure that those links are available going forward. But for now, hope everyone enjoyed, and we'll see you next week on Sunday. Take care, everyone.
Farewell.
Bye.